care for yourself while experiencing, this new role. No one, when, you just had the baby at the hospital and start to talk to you about, so what do you want this journey to look like for you? No, it's all about, I'm going to explain you how you can, change a nappy or how you can, and it's important, it's not that. But I think now it's really the time to have, the well-being of mothers at the center of the conversation, because a baby will grow, happy and healthy if mom is like that, his dad is like that.
Welcome to the Audacious Living Podcast, hosted by my man, Audley Stevenson, the Odd Man.
Greetings and salutations, folks. Audley Stevenson here, and welcome to the Audacious Living Podcast, where our ongoing goal is to inspire and empower our listeners to live their best audacious lives ever. It's always a pleasure to have you here, and we appreciate you taking the time to join us today. Now, we're talking about parenting, and parenting is kind of like tending to a garden. Just as we must nurture and care for our plants and help them thrive, we must also prioritize self-care as parents to provide the best environment for our children to grow and flourish. Now, Tessia Watson is a mother, author, and advocate for self-care in parenting with her book, Rejuvenated Moms Make Happy Kids. She brings a fresh perspective on the importance of caring for oneself while also caring for others. Now, in this episode, Tessia shares her insights on the importance of self-care for mothers and how it directly impacts the well-being of children. Her journey as a single mother caring for two young boys serves as a powerful example of the transformative power of self-care. It really is a fun chat that I think you'll enjoy. So let's turn it over to Tessia. Hey, Tessia, thank you for being here on the Audacious Living Podcast. I appreciate you making the time like this, so thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and privilege to be here today. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Well, listen, it's my pleasure. I very much enjoy and appreciate the opportunity to engage in these types of conversations. We, on this podcast, we, regularly, always, and often are encouraging individuals to live their best audacious lives. And I think the important thing within that to understand is, that path to get to that best audacious place is going to be different for everyone, and it's going to have its own pitfalls, challenges, obstacles, milestones, achievements, accomplishments, whatever they are, but they're going to be different for every single one of us. And so it's about recognizing that, harnessing the power in that journey, and growing and developing and blossoming from there. You've got your own journey. You're an author, and you talk about single parenthood and the joys that are associated with that, as well as, I guess, the challenges as well. It's a double-edged sort of prong, if you will. So maybe as a starting point, Tessia, I can get you to sort of let our listeners know sort of who you are and what you're about and the work that you're up to.
Yes, definitely. So I'm French, born and raised in France. And I currently live in London now. So it's been, around 13 years. I'm a mother, a happy mother of two boys, now 11 and 9 years old.
Wow.
So I decided to write about a book about my own journey as a mother. I just wanted to, highlight the good parts and, the less good parts of being a mother, because I just found that it was really important to share your journey, because when you do that, you help others to kind of understand, or even to avoid, mistakes that you've done. And they can feel as well, not alone in this journey, because they know that someone else, been through it, is here to help us.
Sure.
So I think it's something, I don't know, I just felt compelled. It's like it's kind of an impulse, to just be there for mothers out there. So
Isn't that powerful? That's that's so powerful to be able to share your journey and impact others in such profound ways. And all you're doing is just telling your story.
yes, it's so powerful, but there's something so meaningful. You want to do it. You really want to do it because you care. I think people are doing this. It's just an act of love. Is, you love yourself, but you love, others as well. And so you don't want them to go in the same direction that you've been, if you can avoid that. If you can avoid, suffering, pain for
Sure.
someone else, you want to do it because
Mhm.
I don't know, it's like kind of an instinct, or it's part of our nature, I think. So that's why I did that. So I
Nice.
wrote the book. I shared my story, and the message behind it is to, as mother, to really care for ourselves. Too often when the baby is born, we
Yes.
have advices and support. Yes, don't get me wrong, and it's beautiful, it's nice, but it's all about the baby.
Yes.
You got as well, advices on how to care for the baby, but there is no advices on how to care for yourself while experiencing, this new role. No one, when, you just had the baby at the hospital and start to talk to you about, so what do you want this journey to look like for you? No, it's all about, I'm going to explain you how you can, change a nappy, or how you can, and it's important, it's not that. But I think now it's really the time to have, the well-being of mothers at the center of the conversation,
Beautiful.
because a baby will grow, happy and healthy if mom is like that,
Yes.
his dad is like that, it's just, children, they just learn through observation,
Yes.
through what, they can see. And if you always, tired, exhausted,
Right.
you're not the same person if you are
Correct.
always happy with all your energy. We all know this. We're two
Yes.
different people when we're tired and when we're full of energy and happy. So I think when you start to care for yourself, you are most showing yourself, or
Absolutely.
yeah, as, the happy one. And so
Yes.
the whole experience is different.
Yes, that's right. And by showing up that way for your children, you're also showing them how they can live their own lives. And what I think is so important about the self-care. And funny, I was just watching I was watching it was I forget, the two actors were talking, and one of them was talking about the fact that they struggle with anxiety. And they were sort of talking about their experience because they're both young fathers, and they were saying, well, hey, you know what, I talk to my children about my anxiety issues because I don't want them to think that because I'm quiet, I'm having my own struggles, that they think it's them. And so I'm bringing them into sort of my world so they understand better. So the point I'm really making here is that it's important for children to see all of us in our totality as parents, right? Not just
Yeah,
when we're happy, but also the down parts. And I actually think there's the downside when things aren't going great. There's actually more power in that because they're able to see what we have to do to get to the happy place, if you will, right? And
I
so
agree.
and that's a really, really important lesson. But we oftentimes kind of shield our children. Like we want them to see that. We want to be seen as impregnable and unstoppable and nothing can hold us back. But the reality is, showing our flaws and showing our weaknesses isn't a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing because it's just, part of life. It's part of the journey
Right.
for
Right.
every human beings on this planet. So it's really important. But what I noticed is that when I do care, or take time for myself, and I come back to that role of mother, they're like, oh, so how was it, with your friend? And, I just share, but they feel that my energy is different. You know, I'm more like, oh, it was amazing. I had such a nice time. And then now I engage with them differently,
Differently.
you know? And so they notice the difference. They can notice the
Mm,
difference when, and even at some point they will say, if they start to just see that you're not feeling well, maybe you can go out, or maybe you can, mom, take some time for you. They will know because they know that mom will come back
Sure.
in a better, vibration,
Yes.
in
Here's what
a
she needs to
different
do to herself,
energy.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Here's what she needs to do to herself to get a good place. So, mom, go, right?
Exactly, because they know that they will benefit from it. You will
Yes.
benefit as the mom, obviously, but they will as well.
Yeah.
So that's the message behind. I mean, that's the message that needs to be out there, because we don't have conversations about that. It's not really mothers at the center of the conversation.
Mhm.
And I think it's really, really important that now things changes, and we need that, that shift in
Yes.
consciousness.
Understood.
We need that.
Understood.
And obviously, if mothers are, starting to care for themselves, the whole dynamic of the family will change.
Yep. No, absolutely. Absolutely. You'd mentioned, so you have two boys, you said 11 and 9, right?
Yes,
Right?
Naya.
I
Yes.
mean, so first off, great ages, lots of energy, and they keep you on your toes. I'm certain of that. And the self-care becomes even more important because they've got probably wear you down sometimes. How long have you been a single mother caring for two young boys?
So I think I became single mother around when the youngest one was 3, and
Okay.
so the first one was 4.5.
Okay.
But I always want to explain, because I've grew up in a broken family. So
Mhm.
my mom was a single mother as well,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
not exactly the same type of my single, life.
Okay.
There was no dad at all. So
Okay.
I couldn't see my dad. There's no financial support, and
Right.
I'm not in that situation. So the kids can see their dad
Yes.
all the time. We are supported.
Amazing.
So I think it's important, because I can't
Amazing.
talk
Yes.
with, for those women that are in such a difficult, situation when there's absolutely no dad at
That's
all.
right.
It's different, okay?
Understood.
But I'm still single. It's still the same, like in the sense that we are separate. And yeah, it was not easy, obviously. But if I compared, obviously with my mom, um, it was completely easier in that sense. So what I've realized is it was not really the fact that I didn't have that much support.
Mhm.
It was the fact that I believed I couldn't have the support.
Gotcha.
So that was, my lack of awareness. I
Okay.
was kind of, ignorant, in the sense that whatever you can go through, whatever is your issue or challenge,
Mhm.
the solution exists
Love that.
always,
Love it.
because we live in a dual, world. So you can't have the hot without, the cold. So you can't have a problem without a
Yes.
solution.
Yes.
And that was the issue for me. I was not aware of this.
Right.
So it
So you
doesn't
thought
matter.
what then? What was it that you thought then?
Oh my God, when the baby, the first one, the oldest one, had an issue, he was not able to sleep through the night like another newborn.
Right.
The other newborns, they're gonna sleep for 2 hours, 3 hours, and wake up.
Right.
Mine was not doing this. He was
Mm.
just not sleeping on his own.
Right.
It's either with you or nothing.
Mm.
So as soon as I was, putting him down, he was waking up straight away. And I
Right.
was like, this is impossible. Like, you need sleep, so I was
I need
struggling.
sleep.
I need sleep. So I was struggling. It was torture,
Right.
not sleeping, not understanding everything. But I never thought that some kind of service or that a solution could exist to that particular problem.
Right.
It
Right.
never crossed
Mhm.
my mind. Couple of years later, I'm meeting with someone that she's now my friend, and we're having that conversation. She's talking about what she's doing, and she's telling me, I'm a maternity nurse. And I'm saying, what is it, Mathilde? She said, but we go to the, parents' house and we stay overnight. Okay, there, my world stopped.
Sure.
I was listening to her say, repeat what you said. Yes, we come over and we sleep overnight. So then the parents, especially the mothers, most of the time, can have some rest. I was like, no way. I'm not saying that I would have, used the service every day, but even once in the
Absolutely.
week,
Absolutely.
I would have give everything I have
Sure.
to sleep one night. Everything. So if it's I have to not go shopping to
Sure.
pay that,
Yep.
I will do
Yep.
it, but I didn't know.
Mm,
Why? Because I never look up for it.
right.
It could have taken, 5 minutes. I mean, not even 5 minutes. You just go on Google and you search
Yes.
whatever, and you find this type of service
Yes. Yes.
because I don't have my family around. And nowadays, it's more likely like this for people. We go, live in different countries, and so family is not always around.
Right. No, no. Yeah, I get it. You're by yourself, so you got to figure it out. And sometimes when you're in the midst of a problem or a challenge, it's harder to see the answer. And sometimes because oftentimes that answer is outside of you, but you're in it, you can't see it because you're consumed with it and all you're thinking about it. But if you have the outside perspective, i.e., your friend, a family member, hey, we can do this. They're like, oh, the heavens are opened up and the skies. Oh, okay, that's available to me, kind of a thing. So no, I totally could get that. And so and especially too, there's other part about this too, is that for many, they just assume that this is a problem that you have to go through. Like it is what it is, sort of a thing. And and
Exactly.
and and it's almost normalized that you're not supposed to sleep as a single mother or as a mother.
Completely, Audley. It's part of the journey.
Right.
There's no escape.
Right.
You have to go through it.
Yes.
Good luck.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's the belief.
Yep.
You know,
Yep. Yep.
that's what we've been, conditioned or
That's good.
programmed
Yep.
to think. So that's why we need to unlearn kind of what have been,
Sure.
taught.
Sure. No,
Um,
I mean, I love the way you're able to offer that type of support to mothers, and I think that's important. Um, and so you talked earlier about, there's a problem, there's a solution, there's a good, there's a
yeah.
bad. So maybe if you can give maybe as a single parent the benefits and maybe the setbacks.
Yeah, so the fact in my case, the fact that I'm single, I would say that in terms of what is um like heaven sometimes, I have to say,
Hmm.
it's when, dad, takes the boys. I have some time for myself, and
Yes.
this is something that I kind of realized that my friends who are, in a family setup with, both parents and the children, they kind of, you can sense that they envy you a little bit, like kind of, but Tess, she can, today she's free and she can
Yes.
do
Yep.
whatever she
Yep.
wants to do. And it's something that they don't have often because that's the setup, right? So I think that's an advantage, I would say, in that sense, because you really have the break with that role of, being a mother, because we're not just mothers, I'm a friend as well. I'm a
Sure.
daughter as well. I have
Sure.
hobbies, I have, dreams. So it's not just you a mother and that's it. So you kind of have the opportunity to connect back to your true self, during those moments as well, because it's just you. So
Hmm.
you do what you like, you
Yep.
can, be creative as well. You have that precious time for yourself.
Yes.
So I think definitely an advantage in terms of what is impacting us right now, with that age. It's they left, things at dad or they left things at mine, and it's a trouble. This is a real trouble because whatever the activity is next day, we just don't have the shoes for football. We
Yes.
don't have these,
Yes.
and this is, I would say, definitely it's the disadvantage completely.
No, no, I totally understand. I get that loud and clear. And again, because your situation is as unique as it is. It's in some ways, I mean, some would view it as a nice problem to have, right? Versus not having. So I guess there's always, different perspectives on all this stuff. It applies to everything. We can apply a lens and see things in another manner. But I certainly do appreciate you sharing. I want to sort of get into sort of the self-care part of this conversation, because that's something that you zero in on, and you stress and promote, and self-care and rejuvenation, I should add, because that's the other part of it. When did you realize that? Is that something that it after your sort of the challenges ended? And not that when I say challenge, I'm more referring to when they're younger. They're a little bit older, and that self-care and rejuvenation is still important. So I'm wondering, when in that journey did you realize that, hey, I need to look after myself?
It was progressive. This little voice coming inside and saying,
Yes.
no, this is not right. This is not right. There is another way. I'm doing something wrong. It might have something else, and this voice got stronger and stronger. And I was
Yes.
like, I'm a believer. And I know that we're not here just to struggle and struggle. I know that challenge is helping us to grow,
Yes.
but when you are in it, you know that you can't get out of it. So when I was in that journey of taking care of them 24/7, being so tired, not having time for me, I'm a dancer. I love to dance, and I used to go to classes or gym classes.
Okay.
That never in my mind, I had that question, oh, by the way, Tess, when do you want to go back to the gym?
Oh, wow.
Like it never came back. It's been years after that I was like, wait a minute, that's who I am.
And
I
it's something
love
you love.
doing
Yeah,
that.
it's something you love, and you're not even
Exactly.
thinking about it. Wow.
Yes, I was a stay-at-home mom. That was my choice. But I was having the children 24/7, and I was prioritize everything.
Yes.
And there was not me involved at all.
Wow.
It was all about them.
Them.
Okay, I have to do that. I have to do the cooking. I have to do this. I have to do that. And where I am in this equation,
Mm.
So it was little by little. This voice was like, but Tess, don't you want to do this? And I was like, oh, yeah, yeah, I'll figure out when they're older,
Yeah.
because, you feel that you're like powerless. I don't know.
Sure.
It's so strange. And then, no, the voice got stronger, and I was like, no way. I have to find a way. And so I started to find for childcare. That was my option.
Okay.
And when I decided to find, and I didn't find what I was looking for, because if you take the decision to be a stay-at-home mom, it's because you want to be part of their education and
Absolutely.
you want to be the main carer.
Mhm.
So there is no point to go send the child to nursery all day if you
Right.
want to be a
Right.
stay-at-home mom, right?
Right.
So I was looking for a group setting, because I love, the fact that the child can socialize and, be
Sure.
with his
Absolutely.
peers. I couldn't find anything just for a couple of hours. So I decided to create it. So that's why I ran for 7 years a childcare setting in the UK, in London. It
Mhm.
was bilingual, French and English, because I wanted to give that back to
Yes.
mothers.
Okay.
That
Okay.
little
Beautiful.
time, 2 hours, 3 hours, you choose maybe 2 times a week,
Yep.
just to revitalize, to just, regenerate, to have this little time for you. And so I knew that it was the way to go. So when you don't have anyone, you need to create your own support
Yes, you
system.
do. That's right.
That's a reality now.
That's it. That's it.
So if you don't do that, then it's gonna be you alone, and
That's
you're
right.
gonna suffer. It will really impact not just you, but your kids
Yeah.
and the family as well.
Yeah. No.
So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
have to create our support system. And you do that by, first of all, going out, talking with people,
Mhm.
meeting other moms, because they will guide you as well and tell you, oh, you know what? I go to yoga, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I wanted to do yoga, but what do you do about your baby at that time? Then, they start to exchange on what they do, and maybe you can benefit from, the help that this mother is having, whatever. But you have to go out there to meet other moms, to discuss about your needs.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then the more you are kind of looking for the solution, the more the solution will be coming to you. And so that's the way I mean, I think the first thing, it's awareness
Of
of
course.
your
Yes.
needs,
Yes. Yes.
acknowledging, your needs,
Yes.
knowing that the solution is always out there. So you kind of, you relax, it will come to you as long as you ask for it. And that's why we say, ask and it will be given.
Mm.
So you just do that and you'll be okay. But we just don't do that because we're not even aware.
Got you. No, and you said awareness is a big part of this, right? And
It's a big part.
awareness,
It's a big
acknowledge, and
part.
take action.
And take action. It's
Yeah.
just when it starts here. If you just
Yeah.
don't know, you don't know. So you don't do anything about it.
How difficult was it in the beginning for you to suddenly think about yourself and not put your kids first always?
No,
Or
it
was it
made
difficult at all?
no, it definitely made sense. You know, the old guilty part where mothers believe is still really strong, that the baby or the toddler or the child cannot be happy without her. This is still huge nowadays. But and that's what I love, because when the mothers, were coming to visit the nurseries,
Yes.
they could see the baby was only 6 months and this one is only 1 and 2 and whatever. And the parents are not there, but it's strange. It's really strange because they are having a nice time. And I can see that with my own eyes. So what about the guilt now? It's gone. So the child is happy if he's, loved, cared for in a secure environment. It
Sure.
doesn't need necessarily mommy
It doesn't
or
have to be. Yes,
daddy
that's
to
right.
be there
That's
for
right.
the baby to be happy,
That's right. That's right.
And this is a fact.
Yes. Yes. It's
And
just,
whatever,
I was gonna
yes,
say that the challenge for parents, mothers, and even fathers is that the disattachment, if you will, right?
yes,
And
yes,
oh my gosh, I'm not attached to my child. What's going on? And and then the emotional piece comes in as well. And so it's so
yes.
I can certainly understand, but I still feel, and I agree with you, that that fact or point that you make around the level of happiness still can happen, whether they're there or not.
Of course.
Especially in the short term, right? They're probably sleeping most of the time anyways, right?
Yes, no, but that's really true. And I know that parents, often they have separation anxiety, but it's more the parents who's not, ready to let it go, because the child adapts so well as long as, the settling is really smooth, the parents stay a little bit, come back to comfort the child and everything, then Don is having his best life without you.
Yes.
And this needs to be said, we have to say it and say it and say it out loud, because that's true. And then it starts to be easier for the mother to let it go,
Sure.
because she knows, oh, her boy or girl, she's having a great time, and I can have a great time doing, something that I love, or,
Sure.
go back to work, whatever it is,
Understood. Tessia, let me ask you, what does self-care or rejuvenation look like?
So, I mean, from a mother to another one, it's obviously different. It can be, for some, just, have a bath, with bubbles and everything. And for some others, just, hang out with some friends. It depends from one to another. But I think rejuvenation, it's all about, the mind, the body, and, the spirit. It's all about caring for all the three, And let's say you go for an hour, of exercise, let's say, you're going to think that it's only rejuvenation for your body. But, in terms of the spirit, you can feel, lighter or happier. And, regarding the mind, you can maybe feel more focused, and energized after that, hour of exercise. So it's all about what makes you feel new and whole again,
Gotcha.
So it depends. It's obviously what will work for one won't maybe work for another. But I believe in this, um, philosophy that, it goes, hand in hand with, the body. It's not just the body, it's,
Yes.
the mind as well that you need to care for. So for me, it was, I enjoyed so much, going back to exercise, so the body.
Mm-hmm.
I've made sure that, the sleep is really important as well, the nutrition and, drinking a lot of water. I was not good at that, so I had to make effort and work on it. And the mind as well, it's all about, learning something new that, you don't have to always think nonstop about your kids. You do something that you are interested in. It could be reading a book as well. I think reading a book is very powerful in terms of you just have to focus on the story. You get, in the story. So it helps, release anxiety or whatever, all that thoughts, that can race as well in your mind about, oh my God, my baby this or my baby that. And I loved as well practicing meditation in terms of the spirit and, prayer as well. You can gain comfort, reassurance when you pray, and it's just, inviting God's power and wisdom, in your life when you do that.
Beautiful.
So it's just not one thing, obviously, but you will know.
The key is taking the time. It sounds like whatever it is that thing is, take that time, carve that time out, and make it happen. Right.
Make it happen. And if you don't see yet how, just start to believe that it's possible for you.
Yes.
Okay. Whatever is the current situation, just first believe it's possible, even if you don't see with your own eyes how it could be done.
You are worthy. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about your book, Tessia. Tell us about your book.
Yeah, so my book is called Rejuvenated Moms Make Happy Kids. So you see, in the title, you have it all. Because obviously, if you care for yourself, you children automatically will be happy, healthy, and thriving in life.
And
there's nothing to do. It's just be that yourself, and they will be as well.
Yeah. And so much to be said about the environment that it creates. And you've said that a couple of times now, like the overall environment is heightened, it's better, it's lighter, it's happier, it's more fulfilling when the mothers are in that space of non-stress or unhappiness, or like out of that space. And when you're in a better space, it allows everyone to feel it, and it just trickles out and impacts everyone in such a positive manner. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful message.
Thank you, Audley.
No, I do love that. For our listeners that wanted to, catch up with you, get a copy of your book, or learn more about your writing, your work, where could we send them?
Yes, so the book is on Amazon. Okay. So you just look up for Rejuvenated Moms Make Happy Kids. And in terms of getting in touch with me, where, I can, give advices, support, or whatever, if you have any questions, you can contact me at tessiawatson.com. So this is my website. Okay. So just tessiawatson.com, and you'll find me. That's it.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you. It's such a beautiful time together. And I really appreciate hearing, I think, a very powerful message. And particularly the thing I like about your message is that it's very, it's simple but powerful, and very digestible and understandable. So when you say that, people will say, yeah, that makes sense. How do we make this happen? Like, I love the simplicity and what you're sharing with mothers, and the manner in which you're doing is fantastic. And of course the impacts what they're having to our children. So that's wonderful. And so congratulations on sort of finding your path, right? Finding that path and then living it out, right? So it's one thing to know this is where I should go, but still taking that step and moving forward to that. You've done both beautifully, and I can commend you for that, and thank you. And I appreciate you again, the time for being here.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the space. I'm very grateful. It's a dear message, from the heart. So I really appreciate you, because thanks to you, it can, obviously get out there. So thank you so much, Audley.
My absolute pleasure, Tessia. Thank you so much, and be well.
Thank you.
But back we are here on the podcast. Now, Tessia's message resonates deeply when you prioritize our own well-being. We create a positive ripple effect on our children, our families, and our lives. You know, self-care is not a luxury, but a necessity for creating a happy, thriving home environment. Listeners certainly can connect with Tessia directly for more insights and support her on her website, TessiaWatson.com. Of course, I'll get a copy of her book as well. She's very great to connect with, and perhaps maybe you can consult with her, do coaching services that are related to self-care and parenting. Listeners are encouraged to check out her website for any offerings that she may have. I want to thank you for tuning in to the Audacious Living Podcast as part of your own self-care, being a part of this journey with us. If you've enjoyed the episode, like, follow, subscribe, and share if you haven't already done so, because that's how we connect and impact more people with this wave of audaciousness. Stay tuned for more empowering conversations, and remember to prioritize self-care on your journey to audacious living. Until next time, stay safe, be kind, show love to one another, and be audacious.
You've been listening to the Audacious Living Podcast, hosted by Audley Stevenson. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, be audacious.